like love, 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 and music. La la la, love, 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 and music. Love, love.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner. This is my late review for Iyanla Fix My Life. This one is titled My Father Killed My Mother. Look, I couldn't imagine. Okay, could not imagine at all. I mean, it's a lot. Hello to all my J Birds. You know I love all of my J Birds. Let's get into this review. We have a family coming together. Okay, the family's coming together mainly because years ago we have Shane, we have Bo. Okay, Bo killed his ex-wife, who was Shane's mother. Okay, and so Bo is Shane's father. Shane's father killed Shane's mama. And Shane's niece called the show because Shane and Bo do not talk. They don't like it's a lot. Okay, it's a whole lot. And the niece Tanae is the daughter of Shane's half sister. Of course, they don't have the same mama because Bo killed, Shane's mom. We also have Bo's sister there as well. So we're gonna start off, you know what I'm saying? Iyanla takes them to the basement when they all come in the house. Like, to get through this, we have to get to where it all began, where the dysfunction began. They go down the basement and there is literally a casket. Like something on the wall, like a TV, whatever, a monitor with pictures of, Daisy, who was the mom. And I'm like, what the fuck? She took them to basically a funeral. And Shane, at the time his mom passed away, he was like 6. So he did not go to his mom's funeral because they said it was too tough for him to go to the funeral. So he walked in, and the minute he see the casket, when he see his mom picture, he just instantly like stopped in his tracks, could not proceed, couldn't breathe, he had to process it all. You know what I'm saying? Iyanla kept talking to remember in these moments of when it's too hard, remember what you're here for, remember what you want. Okay, but he like he was crying, of course. It was an emotional drain. Look, I told y'all, when I went to my dad's funeral, I still don't remember, certain things from that day. Like, it's very, very emotionally just draining, going through that. So I couldn't imagine having to relive that in any shape, ways. It's just tough. That's why even now I don't really go to funerals. Like, a person has to be very, very, very close to me in order for me to go, because it takes me back to when my dad passed away. So I can imagine him, going in there, and it was emotional. So, Yama, he comes and he sits down finally, and they're all crying. He's crying, the daddy crying, the half sister crying, Bo sister crying, the niece, they all crying. Okay. And Iyanla basically tells him, like, you know what, you have to think about this. I'm going to be Daisy. I'm going to speak on behalf of Daisy, and I want y'all to know I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay where I am. However, I'll be wondering how y'all are. Okay, are y'all okay? All this time, y'all, all these years, and this turmoil and this hurt and this pain, you know what I'm saying? But I'm dead and gone. How are y'all doing? And how much longer are y'all gonna stay into this muck of it? Okay, we gotta get that fixed. So we see that she talks to the niece, Tanae first. And Tanae is who called the show. And for her, she's like, my grandfather murdered the love of his life. And my uncle, never forgave him or never liked him because of it. And I'm like, but that's like a valid like, there's valid reasons to not fuck with somebody. Mur- excuse me, murdering their parent, murdering their child, raping, all that stuff. Those are reasons to not want to be dealing with somebody. So I like how Iyanla told her, like, we have to be understanding of Shane's issue because his father murdered his mother. So, she's like, I get that too. Now, Tanae seems to need her own little version to fix my life because she was crying so hard and she didn't know the she didn't know Daisy. She wasn't even alive back then when Daisy was killed. So, for the most part, it's like, I wrote in because I want the family to get along. And my uncle, my daddy, my uncle and my grandfather, they just don't mesh. I've asked them questions separately, but like the family like avoid certain things. Shane will avoid certain family members. It's just things we don't talk about. It's things we just ignore and sweep up under the rug. Like no one really talks about one, what happened, or two, how anyone feels after the fact. So I young asked, like, well, could you imagine how you would feel like if your father killed your mother? She was like, no. And of course, she was crying about that too. That's a hard thing to think about. She says she's only heard stories about who her grandfather used to be before she was born and how horrible he was back in the day. You know what I'm saying? She brings up, I've always been told he was like this really bad person, whatever. He was really mean, whatever, but it was due to him, out here drinking and drugging. She even brings up how she, is or was, well, she said was. She was a very, very heavy drinker. And so she dabbled in some drugs before too, but when she got pregnant with her son is now 5. How that helped her to try to get her life in order. But when I like one of y'all ask her, like, are you a good mother? Like, are you there? Are you raising your son? I try to be there as much as I can, meaning she has her own demons to deal with. So I'm looking like, again, she seemed like she needed to fix my life episode because she kept crying. I mean, she kept crying. She just seems very, it's something else wrong with her that I feel is separate from her nephew, her uncle, and her grandfather. She needs something, okay? Because she seemed hurt, pain driven too. She give her own episode. Somebody write back in for her, and we can see what's going on with her. You know what I'm saying? So she's crying or whatever, and y'all like, yeah, it's these demons y'all have that y'all not, looking at, abandonment, abuse, anger, rage, all these things. Y'all have them caged up, y'all don't talk about them. We need to, cast that stuff out, get it out of the system. And it's true. A lot of people don't realize the things you hold back, the things you don't discuss, the things you don't talk about is it's like a demon in you because you trying to avoid it. You know what I'm saying? And you won't address it and just get it out. Okay, get it completely out. We do see her mom is there, and her mom, they look just alike. The mom, of course, is the half sister, and she's like, my brother. Once my father got home from prison or whatever, he just didn't want to deal with him. He would not come around, and we just can't, get them two kind of on the same page or whatever. And it's mainly because, again, they don't talk about anything. She's like, nobody has really ever asked them or make the father and the son have any kind of conversation. So it's just weird for them or whatever. I'm like, I can completely agree. So we don't see too much more. We don't see too much more of, them later on. The rest of the episode is mainly about Shane and Bo. Within Iyanla talks to Shane. Now, Shane, again, is his son. First of all, Shane looks so much like my ex, the bad guy. If y'all, I've never posted a picture of him, but if y'all have ever wondered, oh, what does he look like? He looks like Shane. I'm looking like, damn, he looks just like, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? They couldn't be twins, but goddamn it, it's just too much of a resemblance. I'm like, that's him. That's at least his cousin, okay? But it's not. Anyway, so she's talking to Shane. Shane is now 40. And, what I'm saying, she asked him, like, what do you remember about what happened back then? So let me show y'all his daddy's mug shot from back then. Okay. He says all he remember, him and his mama was in the bed. Okay, sleeping because this happened at 5 o'clock in the morning when she was murdered. He said we was in the bed sleeping. Somebody was at the door. My mama got up. I heard some arguing. And then I saw 3 flashes of lights. Okay. And from that, when I got up, I went in the living room, went in the front, and my body was, she was dead at the door. This is Bo, the daddy. That's his mugshot back in the day. Spitting image. spitting image. I'm like, Bo and Shane look identical. Now at the time of this picture, because when Bo killed Shane's mom, Bo was 27. So was Daisy. So we do have I have the news clipping of what happened. So again, he says again he remember being in the bed, heard a knock at the door, and that's the news clipping that y'all see. He was in the bed, heard the knock at the door, argument, and then three gunshots. So three sparks was pushed, which was three gunshots. And as y'all see from the clipping, man charged in the ex-wife's death. So him and Shane's mama used to be married, got a divorce, they were not together anymore. Brings up how both of them were 27 years old, how he supposedly forced his way into the home, and it says we found Mrs. Freeman on her back dead with a bullet wound to the head. This man shot her in the head. Okay, there was another new clipping they had that said like an autopsy was done, and she actually had three gunshots to the head. And I'm like, you know, it's just like, police arrested a city man Saturday morning and charged him with the murdering of his former wife, Detective Sergeant Brent Musgrove said Jerome Brown, 27, of the address or whatever, was charged with the murder of Daisy Mae Freeman, 27. Brown is accused of forcing his way into Mrs. Freeman's home in the block of their street. He had a handgun at the argument and killed her. Killed her. And they say he was arrested at a house, down the street or whatever near her house. He was in jail. I'm like, I just can't. She was found shot in the head. I'm like, that is some crazy ass shit. And it's crazy even to see, how much he looked like his daddy, from back in the day. I'm like, it's crazy to me. So, what I'm saying? He do say, Iyanla asked him, like, have you ever asked your father, like, why did he do it? And he said, well, not really. Like, I've asked about it a little bit here and there. And he's always said it's because he was on drugs and he doesn't remember much else besides that he was on drugs and he was crazy or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? As he's talking, you see he looks angry right here, okay? And she said as he talks, she can see his anger switch on because he gets angry talking about it. And then she brings up how that seems to be a pattern within the family, okay? You get angry about things and things happen. You know, she asked him, like, well, who have you become, since your mother, since you was your mama's baby? Like, who have you become since it was your mother? And he was honest and saying, I'm still trying to figure that out. Because that boy is still probably grieving the death of his mom. You never get over the death of a parent. She asked him, have you ever even had a conversation with your father, just like man to man, person to person? And he says, no, like we never really, I never really got to talk to him like that, growing up. It was a lot. Now we have Bo. I'ma leave Bo's mug shot up just so you can kind of see him then and him now. So that's Bo now. And you can tell the difference between now sober and clean Bo and drunk, disorderly, abusive, scared of him right now. And I know, I'm saying, he is two different people or whatever. You can clearly see that. So she asked Bo, how, because then he's 60 now, how did you, so 20, girl, I gotta do the math. I can't count right now. Well, 27 was 60 minus 27. I feel stupid. And I'm not mean, of course of course I can't unlock my phone when I'm trying to do math in my head and I can't, and I don't want my phone to lock up. So he's 60, 33 years ago. Y'all know my math ain't all that good. Anyway, how did you get to the point of killing Daisy? He was mostly drug and alcohol. He says I was drinking alcohol, I was on cocaine, I was on heroin or whatever. He also brings up how he was physically abusive to Daisy, his ex-wife at the time or whatever. He says, mainly because she used to hit him. And so back then he felt like, well, if she hit me, I had the right to beat her up. Which is crazy. But again, he's saying because of drugs and alcohol. He says it wasn't until he was older, clean and sober or whatever, that he realized even if she hit him first, she couldn't really hurt him. Whereas he was like, if she hit me first, she's hurting me, I need to hurt her back. And he brings up how, now in his adult life, he realized how wrong that was and how, she couldn't even hurt me back then. So I don't know why I was doing that. But against drugs and alcohol, you know. She's like, well, were you raised like seeing abuse, to women in the household? He was like, well, no, no. I didn't see women being beat up, in my household. And she then asked, but did anybody beat you? Did a man beat you? He said, well, yeah. So we find out that his father was abusive to him. Okay, we had that whole thing. So, you know what I'm saying? He then kind of brings up how, so for him, he said because his father was beating him, he still had a violent upbringing, basically. So that's where his violent tendencies came from. He do things that like it's sad that things didn't work out between me and her because I really loved her. You know what I'm saying? He said I was seeing other women. So we would always break up and get back together, whatever. He said, at times she would also be seeing other men. And if you think about it, they both was in their early 20s because, she died at 27. So if the son was 30, was girl, he's in 30 something. He was like 6 at the time. They had been together since they was in their 20s. So I'm like, of course, sometime in that age, you be dating this person, dating that person that may not be that serious. So, it's craziness. Anyway, he says how he remember he went to her house that night. It happened, of course, 5 o'clock in the morning. He say I was drunk. I was very, very high, drunk and high. He says, that's all he can remember. And she like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like you are not remembering because of the trauma or because your mind does not want you to remember, but your body knows what happened because your body experienced it, but you keep blocking it out. We do see him come back to her on like day 2, and he admits to where he says a few other reasons he think he went to her house that morning was because he was angry. He was enraged. He had womanizing ways. He said, I felt like I also went there to maybe try to get back with her or whatever. Again, but he like it was more than just the drugs and alcohol, which we knew that to be true. So we do see his sister. I'll take off his other picture now, y'all, because y'all can see like the resemblance. So we see his sister is there too. And her name was Wanda. So Wanda comes in and she talks with them or whatever, and I'm like, why would your brother out, drinking and drugging, at like 15 years old? Like, that was kind of crazy. Like, what was going on that y'all, he was able to do that? And she's like, because we wasn't happy at home. Like, daddy was beating our ass. She's like, oh, he was beating you too? She said, yeah, daddy used to beat me. It was child abuse. He would really beat us. She then says to Bo, you said that you didn't see a woman being beat by a man, but you did. Your sister's a woman. And even though she was not an adult, you still seen a man hitting on a female. And, he didn't even like really connect the two initially. And I'm like, well, you saw it. So again, that's where some of the things came from. Some of his violent ways because he had saw it his whole life. You know what I'm saying? Wanda at this point is crying because, like, he used to beat us so bad. You know what I'm saying? He would, at one time, he shot at us. He would beat us with sticks and belts and all these things or whatever. And she said, but I forgave him. Once I got older, I did forgive him for what he did. So Iyanla asked Bo, have you forgiven yourself for what you did? And he like, well, I forgive myself for a crime that I know I committed, even if I don't know why I did it. And I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, you can tell Bo was sorry. You can tell that he isn't the same person he was when he committed this horrific crime, 33 years ago. It kind of goes to show people can just horribly fuck up when they're younger and just do something that cause you can't take that back, but it doesn't mean that you can't really be remorseful and be like dead ass, wrong word, you can't be like completely sorry and completely remorseful and completely remorseful for what you did. And I do feel like he is. That's the kind of hard part, because he did something that he can't take back, even though he feels completely wrong in what he did. Is, it's kind of crazy. So, um, I don't like, look, something, you keep saying how you don't remember the reason you did it, but something in you made you get up that late, go to that lady house, kick in her door, you know what I'm saying, and kill her. Like, you went there with a gun. Like, you went there with a gun, you know what I'm saying. You didn't go in there and see who else was in there. You didn't care who else there. You didn't even care where your son was, or if you did this, what would happen to him. Like, where was your son when you were killing his mama? You didn't even think about that. And then she's like, that's what you need to forgive. You know what I'm saying? But not remembering why you did it is what's keeping you kind of punishing yourself, because he do seem to be just stuck in a point of, I'm wrong, I'm wrong, I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and he can't move past that either. That's why him and his son still beefing. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, you need to talk to your son. You and your son need to have a whole, full-fledged, wholehearted conversation, man to man, point blank, period. And I'm like, girl, they do, because it's just, this was the most simple but complex episode that I've ever seen them have. You know what I'm saying? So we then see Shane and Bo have a whole conversation. Um, you can tell in Shane's face and in Bo's face too, how they both were sitting there and neither one of them was breathing. Like, you see on his hand on his chest because he wasn't breathing. And sometimes when you are so pissed off at the motherfucker, you so pissed off that you can't breathe because you feel like if you breathe, you may try to kill that person. And he was sitting there just stuck in his anger or whatever. And now we both see how they both are shackled with different things: abandonment, abuse, murder, hate, all this stuff. So y'all had them write down things that they feel that are shackled to them. And so in this scene, they both have handcuff shackles on them, to kind of symbolize what they have been either ignoring, exhibiting, going through, all these 33 years. So Shane, do you know what you did to me? Well, I got an idea. He you know what I'm saying, you killed my mother. You killed my mother. And then when Shane said, I know no. When Bo says, I know I left you without a mother. Shane said, and I love that Shane said, he's like, you also left me without a father. Because when Bo killed the mama, Bo went to prison. Okay? He went to prison and was gone for we don't know how long he was gone for, but gone for some years, okay? And even when he came out, he and Shane didn't, they didn't have a relationship. Point blank, period. You know what I'm saying? And so Bo look, I know my actions don't show this. I know that it doesn't seem logical. He but I loved your mother. I loved your mother. I love you too. You know what I'm saying? He I've been carrying around a lot of shame and guilt and just pain over what I did to not only your mother, but what I did to you. Because in the way Bo talked, the way Bo was able to express his feelings. This is the first. Sometimes Iyanla has to kind of help them bring up what they feeling. I feel like neither Bo or Shane needed her assistance in finding the words of what to say to each other. And I felt wholeheartedly that Bo was completely sincere. He was completely authentic, and him saying how he had this guilt and shame for something he did, 33 years ago. We all know that people can be on drugs and be drinking and do stupid things, and that's why you can't be on drugs and doing stupid things, because some things you can't take back. So this is something that he did while he was drunk and high and just out of control, and when he was a different person, probably mind, body, and soul, that he just can't take back, but he can feel remorse for it. And he is expressing his remorse to his son. And I thought it was amazing. You know what I'm saying? Shane says how, you know what I'm saying, I resented you my whole life. I wanted to kill you at times because of what you did. You know what I'm saying? You really messed me up or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He said I was never comfortable around you. He said, because who can be comfortable around a murderer? And I was like, damn. Because again, we don't know at one point in Bo's life that he got to be to this person. I'm saying we don't know when that happened, where he was no longer this mean, angry, evil, spiteful, rage-filled, jealous, murdering person, to where he became this person who was completely remorseful and understood what he did was fucked up. Okay. So, Shane, like, if you loved her so much, like, why did you come to the house with a gun? You know, why did you do that? Bo was like, look, I was filled with rage and anger. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to kill her. I did not want to kill her. That was not my plan. He like, however, I wanted her to take me back and leave the other guy alone. And that's how fucked up situations happen. You get in your feelings because you feel like you are entitled to someone to take you back, okay? And you go to them and you expect them to take you back. But you go to them while you are angry and drunk. And when they reject you, you get more angry and more hateful and more spiteful, and you have a gun and you kill them. Okay? Crazy. Like, just crazy. You know, he says, I was a fucked up dude. Because, Shane said, why did you not even care about what would happen to me? Like, you didn't even wonder where I was. Like, I was there. Like, how did you not think about coming there at that time and I would be there? And Bo was honest. He said, I was a fucked up dude back then. I was a fucked up dude back then, and I didn't care about nobody else but me. That's how a lot of people are when they drunk and high on that cocaine, on that heroin, with that liquor. And that's not an excuse. That's just truth. People sometimes be like, "Well, you can't say that's not an excuse." It isn't an excuse. It isn't. But anyone who don't realize that a person who is under the influence of alcohol and drugs can do things that are completely insane, then you're not living in reality. You're not. Like, that's why people say, you see, he he looked like a completely different person now, being of sound mind and body, and apparently no longer on alcohol and drugs. Okay, we're gonna say that. So, as Bo was saying how he was a fucked up individual back then, Iyanla raised his hands up with all the shackles, and she shook his hand like, back then he was shackled the same way you was shackled, but you didn't know it yet. Meaning you were only 6, but you were going to still be held down by things that you were not aware of yet. Where he was held down already because he was an angry person, you know what I'm saying, who was raised up in a violent household, who was just trying to escape that violence, but still ended up putting that violence on Shane's mama Daisy and then fucked around and killed her, okay? Shot her in the head. That's crazy as hell, too. Anyway, Bo then tells Shane about his father. And he like, what I'm saying, my father used to beat my ass. Because again, Shane don't know shit about his father. Like nothing. Because again, he don't know nothing. So, he like, my father beat me. He beat my sister. You know what I'm saying? He would abuse us all the time. He just, and I treated, he said, my father beat us because he was beat. He treated us the way he was treated as a kid because he didn't know no different. Again, familiar violence. People repeat patterns that they see. When you see kids up here cussing and fussing, it's because that's what their parents do. Because that's what they've seen. A friend of mine texted me the day, and she like, go look at so-and-so's page, so-and-so posted, said person and said person's daughter. The girl who was like 21 has a kid who's like 2. And the 2-year-old kid was like, my mom motherfucking fine, and so am I. And had the whole man. It was like, you want to know why? Because she has seen, that's what she see. She's talking what she see. So if all you see is cussing and fussing, if all you see is fighting and fighting and fighting, you're going to have familiar situations. Okay? I feel like that's why I'm a real well-rounded individual, because I've seen things, but I also had a positive upbringing. You know what I'm saying? So I know both sides of the fence. You know what I'm saying? I can do both. Anyway, So Shane said, growing up without a mother and a father was kind of hard or whatever. I just needed you. I needed you there. Every kid wants their dad at that game. I needed my father. And Bo then says to Shane, "Can you please forgive me? You know, um, because I killed your mother, I wasn't there for you. I wasn't there for you as a father, and can you please forgive me?" And then Shane looked at his father. He said, "You know what? Looking at you now, looking in your eyes, looking at you, I see that you hurt. I see that you sorry for what you did. I see compassion. I see," and he do. It was like the whole time they was talking, as they talked a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, the weight on their shoulders was kind of, what I'm saying, just coming off. And when he said, like, "I see that you truly sorry," what I'm saying, he like, "And for me, I can see that in you." And then Bo, like, I've really, that's all I ever wanted you to know, was that I'm truly sorry, that I'm truly sorry for what I did. You know what I'm saying? I'm truly sorry. And then Shane say, "All I really wanted to know ever was that you was sorry." You know what I'm saying? For what you did. So it's like they both have been looking for the same thing from each other. That the other one, felt sorry, and the other one knew it. They just hadn't talked about it. Okay. And then, Iyanla, tells Bo to get up and, grab Shane. And he grabbed Shane's face. And he like, "Son, I'm proud of you." You know what I'm saying? "I'm proud of you for being a better man than I was." You know what I'm saying? "And I love you." And they hugged. Oh, they hugged. They hugged and they cried. Okay. It was amazing. It was an amazing moment because it felt like, the weight was off of their shoulders. And look at the embrace. Look at the embrace of them, wholeheartedly, both hands embracing as father and son. And you hear Shane say, "I'm 40 years old and this is the first memory I have of me hugging my father." I'm like, oh, they just want us to cry. Oh, why you cry? It's like, it was just so, it was amazing. It was just amazing. And then we do have them on day 3, and as you can see, they both look lighter. Just they both look like they breathing. They both look like they can be sitting near each other and not have any wondering feelings, or they just look different than how they did when they came in 2 days ago. And it just goes to show, sometimes having a conversation can completely change your demeanor and your spirit. And I feel like both Shane and Bo's spirit has been at least lifted a little bit, to where they can coexist and have a conversation and be father. And like, I have this one other picture to kind of show you the difference between them sitting together. Then so look at this. So this was them sitting before, they before they talked. Okay, this is them before they talk, and this is them after. Look, the demeanor is different. It's just, it's just a whole different thing. And it's just amazing to see that, they were able to get that out their system. And, Iyanla was like, no, they also went to the coffin, to the basement, and put these shackles in there. And, Bo apologized to Daisy for what he did and asked for forgiveness for not being in their son's life based on what he did. And I'm like, if Daisy wasn't resting in peace, I bet your ass is not. Okay. And then they both agree that they're both feeling lighter and they both feel just better about things. And y'all like, have y'all ever played, like toss the football around? He's like, no, we've never, done nothing really. And so they tossed the football, father and son, tossing the football. It was beautiful. It's beautiful when two black men can have a conversation as father and son and get some kind of reconciliation, and both move forward in positive ways. And then they say, playing football together, got photos together as father and son. Okay, 40-year-old and 60-year-old, father and son. And then they say how, now they're both talking on a regular basis and they have a close relationship. It was a great episode. It really, really was. Just to get them to both be talking and have an understanding and have them forgive each other and forgive themselves. And that's it, y'all. So I'm out here, y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed. I'm about to watch the Grammys. I can review that too, Lord Jesus. Anyway, have a good day or night. Peace.
He's like love, 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 and music.